Hello and welcome back to another TV show review. This one's going to be a little bit different because it is going to be spoiler free, so if you have not seen this show yet, fear not. Today we're talking about Final Space, which is a show on TBS. It's a 30-minute short little show.
And if you've never heard of this show before, it is a space... I'll describe it how the creator of the show describes it. It is a space opera comedy filled with drama and darkness as well. And I think that's the best way we can describe it.
This is an animated show, and it was created by Olan Rogers. If you're unfamiliar with Olan Rogers, he is a comedian here on YouTube. He got his start on YouTube doing skits and whatnot, and we have been following him for years. We have been fans. We saw the first designs for Final Space way back when. It was just an idea in his head, kind of sketched out just a little bit. And so we were very excited when this got picked up by cable television, by Conan O'Brien and his team. And so if you haven't checked out Olan, highly, highly recommend. I'm going to link my favorite video of his, which is the It's a Monday, which I've tweeted before if you follow us on Twitter. Highly recommend.
All of his videos are hilarious, and he's one of the funniest, most naturally, just gifted entertainers on the site. And
not only that, he's a fantastic storyteller. He has these little storytelling, segment and bits things that he does that are just... He can take the most, simplest story and just turn it into something fantastic and extremely interesting.
So check him out.
Also, the cast of this show is insane. So we've got Fred Armisen, Tom Kenny, who does SpongeBob. He voices SpongeBob. Olan Rogers plays the main character. Tika Sumpter. David Tennant. If you know me at all, you know that was a selling point. David Yeun from Walking Dead. Cody Galloway, who plays Avocado. Gina Torres, yes. Ron Perlman. Conan O'Brien. Shannon Purser. Come on. Just amazing.
The list just goes on for people who have one-off things too. It's crazy. And so obviously it's hard to talk about the plot of the show without giving anything away, but you follow this guy who Gary, who is the Gary, and he starts out in jail.
He's on a prison ship, essentially.
And from there you just learn a lot of things that the universe is in danger, and he has to go stop it, and along the way he kind of forms his own crew. As all good space operas do, he has to form his crew of all the different types of people, and they go on adventures together to try and stop the danger to the universe.
There's lots of space antics and lots of things that go on with that. It's hard to explain without getting into details, but I think the little intricacies that go into this show and tidbits and fun stuff that most space shows do, but in a unique way, it was just really well done.
I think the strongest part of the show is the tone. This show is one of those that the dialogue moves so fast that you really have to pay attention to keep up. So you'll miss jokes here and there, and there's tons of things happening on screen. But they really nail the tone in that throughout all those jokes, there's still serious moments for the characters, serious stakes for the characters. And for a 30-minute cartoon on TBS, it got surprisingly dark. There was a couple episodes that I was just like...
As someone who does not enjoy comedies very much, especially short little 30-minute comedy type things on cable television, this I loved. I loved the comedy in it. Occasionally it got really dumb and stupid, but it was because the main character was a dumb and stupid character, in a way, and the way the characters were done, the smart people were smart, the dumb people were dumb, the comedy people were the comedy ones, the more serious people, it didn't make everyone just a slapstick comedy character, which I appreciated, and like Steven said, the tone balance was perfect, and I am a sucker for comedic things that get dark, like Guardians of the Galaxy, etc., especially when it has a space element, so it hit on all of my, favorite things.
So one of the most important things about any animated show is obviously the animation. Now, I'm pretty picky when it comes to... I watch a lot of animated shows, a lot of anime, and so I get pretty picky here. And something that this show did that's very interesting to me is they blended 3D animation with 2D animation, and normally when shows do that, it makes me want to barf, and I've said this to her 5 times while watching. I was like, I'm amazed that I don't, hate it. And I think that's really cool. The way they blended those is very subtle, so some scenes you don't realize they've switched into 3D until you're a couple seconds into it, and you go, oh, wow. And it it most of the time is only used sparingly for like effect and to really show the depth or the magnitude of a scene. And I really thought it was a powerful way to use animation in the storytelling. It was good.
Also, another very important part of most media on television is the soundtrack. The soundtrack for this is amazing for a 30-minute comedy on cable television. Like, I was astounded by how beautiful the soundtrack was put together, and like, I want to download it if that's a thing. Is it available?
I think it is a thing.
I would like it because it's really good. It fit the tone perfectly. It really brought those darker, more serious moments. It switched the tone from the comedic to that dark perfectly and just set the stage for what was playing out on screen, as any good soundtrack should. And I just think that it was the perfect companion to everything else that was put into the show.
Because of how everything was just put together, like we said, the soundtrack, the visuals, the story, the actors, the cast themselves, and the writing, all of it comes together to create this thing that I feel like was very surprising for me. I knew I was going to like it, and it still managed to surprise me in several ways for how dark it was willing to get, for how funny it actually was, how crammed full of jokes, and how quickly they could switch to a scene that rips your heart out, and after just a few episodes, you're like, why? And overall, we just really love the show. And the good news is, it has been renewed for season 2. I'm not sure when it's coming yet, but I'm very excited for it to continue because it does leave off with a bit of a cliffhanger. So I'm excited to see where Olan plans to take this. I know that he's had this story in his head for many years at this point, and watching him be able to bring this to fruition and watching the behind the scenes pieces of it, and also being fans of his and being able to follow his journey through this has just added that more enrichment to the show. And you really put the effort, and the love that is put into the show is phenomenal, and it's just something we obviously very highly recommend. So if you haven't checked it out yet, definitely do so. I know that the episodes are available online on the TBS app and other places as well. And as always, we are very interested to see what you guys thought about this show. If you have seen it, keep our comment section spoiler free, though. There are ways you can talk to us with spoilers that are not in the comment section of this video, because I think this show is pretty under the radar and a lot of people may not have heard of it. And if you haven't heard of it, let us know in the comments below, but go watch it because you really should. And subscribe if you enjoy our content. We do a lot of different reviews, tons of different kinds of videos on this channel, and if you want to see some of those, you guys click right over there, and we will see you next time.